2017's The Mummy starring Tom Cruise is a reboot to the Brendan Fraser-led Mummy trilogy and is an action-packed flick with elements of horror and comedy, and is also the first film set to establish a brand new variety of interconnected monster movies by Universal Pictures called the Dark Universe. While the Mummy film could be considered a fun 2-hour ride with a brand new story, some goofy dialogue and acting by Tom Cruise, and a new twist on the classic movie monster genre, where the Mummy comes up short, other than Tom Cruise's height, is in failing to give viewers any sense of direction as to where the Dark Universe franchise is heading next. So before I go any further, keep in mind, everything you hear from here on out is major movie-ruining spoilers to The Mummy, so you've been warned. So here are the questions regarding the conclusion of The Mummy. What upcoming films does Universal Pictures have lined up in their Dark Universe? Who will star in those roles, and when can we expect those films to be released in theaters? And in regards to the ending of the film, now that Tom Cruise's character has the Egyptian god of evil set inside of him, does that guarantee his return in a Dark Universe sequel? But first, a quick recap and breakdown leading to the conclusion of The Mummy. The Mummy film is the official starting point of the Universal Pictures owned Dark Universe series of monster movies, just like 2008's Iron Man was the official starting point of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Mummy follows rogue militant Tom Cruise as Nick Morton, teamed up with one-night stand Annabelle Wallis as archaeologist Jenny Halsey. Nick's motives are usually finding artifacts with partner in crime/adventure Chris Vale, while Jenny's are about discovering the truth about these ancient deities. In an attempt to evade an insurgent attack, Vale calls it an airstrike, unearthing the entrance to Princess Amenette's prison. We learn the reason that Amenette was imprisoned and mummified alive was because the hieroglyphics on her sarcophagus say that back in ancient Egypt, Amenette was initially the one true heir to the throne, promised to be pharaoh one day, until her mother bore a son who then became the new rightful heir. Fueled by revenge and believing that what was rightfully hers was taken away, she knew that power like that was not given to anyone but had to be taken. So she made a pact with the god of death Set to embrace evil. This changed Amenette and she was reborn into a monster. After killing her family, she then attempted to unleash the ultimate evil. Amenette would stab her love with the dagger of the god Set, not to kill her love, but instead so he may be reborn as the ultimate evil on Earth. And the two together could rule the world. Before this happened, she was stopped, her love killed by guards. As punishment for murdering her family, she was mummified alive, and her evil form was sent away in a sarcophagus 1,000 miles from Egypt and buried under a pool of mercury. The mercury was because in ancient Egypt it was believed that it placates or chases away evil spirits. In this case, it was basically to hold her evil down. Back to present day, upon freeing Amenette's sarcophagus from her prison, Nick almost instantly sees hallucinations of himself with Amenette. In these visions, Amenette says, "You set me free, my chosen," cursing Nick in the process, making it inevitable that he is doomed to become the ultimate evil. Upon trying to get the sarcophagus back to London for further research, the plane crashes and Nick is the lone survivor because Amenette is not yet done with him. Re-enter Jenny, who introduces Nick to her boss, Dr. Henry Jekyll, played by Russell Crowe. Dr. Jekyll, of course, like in any adaptation prior, struggles to keep his alter ego Mr. Hyde at bay. Dr. Jekyll is the head of operations in a secret program called Prodigium. At Prodigium, which hides in plain sight at the London Natural History Museum, their sole purpose is to recognize, examine, contain, and then destroy evil. In the Prodigium lab, there are a few Easter eggs that hint at the future Dark Universe titles, including a skull belonging to a vampire, hard to believe at this point that it's actually Count Dracula's skull, as well as a web-scaled hand from the creature of the Black Lagoon. Again, hard to believe that it's actually the hand from the actual creature of the Black Lagoon. What Dr. Jekyll actually studies when he's not playing 50 Shades of Cloth with the Mummy is infectious disease, believing that like his own condition that turns him into a violent psychopath, there must be a way to cure or at least lessen the effect of the curse upon Nick. Unfortunately for Nick, Dr. Jekyll has no such interest in curing him. His reason being that given the knowledge that the chosen one who was stabbed by the dagger of Set will then be the vessel for the ultimate evil, Dr. Jekyll decides he would rather stab Nick with the dagger so that he can then destroy the reborn god Set, which would also kill Nick in the process. But again, also destroying the ultimate evil that could ever be on Earth. But at this point they realize that the dagger of Set is 2 parts, and they need the red ingot stone in order for the ritual to work. It really seems like with Prodigium serving as the world's only defense against these monsters, Prodigium will sort of serve the same role that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. do in Marvel, making Dr. Jekyll the Nick Fury of this Dark Universe. Anyway, cutting to the final fight between Amenette and Nick, and having already acquired the Lost Ingot Stone, making the Dagger of Set complete, Nick gains the upper hand on her by dropping every relationship's cheesiest breakup line, and decides to now stab himself in order to gain the power of life over death. making the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good of the world, and because there is enough good in him that he decides he can safely contain the deity's set. Until he finds a cure for this curse, which re-mummifies Amunet in the process, to most likely never be seen again, and now she's re-imprisoned in the same fashion she was when she was discovered, only this time at Prodigium. And now that Nick Morton rides off into the desert with his now revived friend Vale, because of the whole power of life over death thing that he also did to Jenny, how exactly he'll manage to get that cure is unknown, since his best bet would have been to work with Jenny and Dr. Jekyll, except for the whole Dr. Jekyll wanting to kill him because he's carrying the ultimate evil inside of him thing. Well, at least he's immortal, because now he's got all the time in the world to find a cure, but there's no word at all as far as a Mummy 2, or Tom Cruise appearing in any other Dark Universe film in the near future. So that's the ending explained. Now on to what's next for the Dark Universe. The next and so far only confirmed sequels to be released will be the Beauty and the Beast directed Bill Condon's Bride of Frankenstein, and a solo Invisible Man film starring Johnny Depp. The only other news with those two films is that it's confirmed that Javier Bardem will play Frankenstein's monster in the Bride of Frankenstein film, but no word yet on who will play the bride. The rumor circulating Hollywood is that Angelina Jolie is the head candidate. The Dark Universe will also see reboots to Vampire Hunter Van Helsing, The Wolfman, which many speculate Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson should be up for the lead role, since all that guy literally does now is act and lift weights, and also reboots to Creature from the Black Lagoon, a new solo Dracula film, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, as well as The Phantom of the Opera, the last two of which were originally monster movies owned by Universal Pictures, not Disney properties. Universal initially planned to release one monster movie a year, with Bride of Frankenstein originally set for April 13th, 2018, but that has since been moved all the way back to February 14th of 2019, with still no release date set for the Johnny Depp starred Invisible Man film. Mummy director Alex Kurtzman will take a bigger role in this universe by helping with production in the upcoming projects, seemingly similar to what Kevin Feige does at Marvel. Now, it hasn't been confirmed yet if Russell Crowe's Dr. Jekyll will return in these sequels, or if these sequels will serve as sort of flashback origins like what the solo Wonder Woman movie was, and maybe Dr. Jekyll did capture and kill Dracula, and did capture and kill the Creature from the Black Lagoon, or if Dr. Jekyll will team up with the Invisible Man a la the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is highly unlikely as the film rights to that belong to Warner Brothers. So there's still a lot unknown about the future of this Dark Universe, but as soon as I get any more clarity, I'll be sure to let you all know here first. And that's everything I have for the ending explained of The Mummy and the Dark Universe explained. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below, and tell me your thoughts on the film. Also be sure to comment who would you cast as the leading monster roles in the future Dark Universe films, and which you would like to see the most. And don't forget, as always, 5 Things Explains Everything with the Thingabang Show. Here's to a new world of gods and monsters.